So I see a lot of comments asking if I was in court, how do I have all these details? Well, I was in court on that day, and I didn't have the problems that them Showore and co were having gaining access to the court. If you have been to that Federal High Court, when such high-profile cases come up, the way people who have access to the court premises, they weigh them. Now, depending on the way you're dressed, depending on whether you are coming in groups or coming with as individual, depending on whether you have a case in that same court, because there's up to court 11, court how many there? I don't know if it's serial, but I know I've been in court 4, I've been in court 8, I've been in court 11, I've been in court 6, which is this Joyce Abdul Malik court. I did not have that problem because, I mean, it's not my first time, and when you see me, forget the fact that you see me in t-shirts, right, on social media. When you see me in real life, you will grant me access to that place because you know me, I don't like all this social media noise. I have said it. All of these, I want to use the word groping, but it's not groping. And I don't want to use the word protest because you see, when they are bringing Justice Crack in, I'm talking about the DSS. You see, the mob action, that's the word I want to use. Mob action. This mob action that you see the protesters all there around the Peters and everybody say, free Justice Crack now, free Justice Crack now. And then they are blocking the road of the part of the DSS and all that. The same thing when it's being brought out. You see, I made a video about it the other time and I said they should stop it. Because at the end of the day, it is actually Justice Crack that suffers it. All those dragging that they are dragging him, the cuffs in his hands, they are just manhandling him. So you think that you are saying free Justice Crack now, you are blocking the path of the DSS. They have to go this way, go that way. But at the end of it, it's Justice Crack that suffers it. And I spoke against it. And I said, look, you can make your protests. You don't even have to enter the court premises to do your protest. You can do it from outside on that road, right? I am not that kind of person to engage in a needless battle. When it was End Bad Governance, I was there. And in fact, I took some of my staff with me. And we were happily tear-gassed. And we took the tear gas with Jesus' joy. And we counted it as our own contribution to a better Nigeria. But you see, even Showore, check my channels. I have done videos criticizing him, right? When I feel that the protests are not necessary. In my own case, I wanted to make a, call for a press conference. My lawyers advised me against it. That is not necessary. That my case will be looked into based on the merits. But unfortunately, the same court struck out my case based on technicality. I've also mentioned it before. So how did I get the information? From being in court and from understanding court processes. That is how I got the information that I got. Here are some critical questions, and it is sad, sincerely, that Nigerians do not understand how the justice system in Nigeria works. We believe that it is only lawyers that need to understand it. No. You as a Nigerian, so far as you can read and write, you can educate yourself. It's just that if you're not a lawyer, you have not been called to bar, you cannot practice law, you cannot represent others. But even without being a lawyer, you can represent yourself in your own case. So, an understanding of the justice system in Nigeria is very, very important. Many times we blame the judges, when in actual fact, it is the lawyers. In my own case now, my lawyers messed me up. But I have understanding now. There's no way I could have known that it was supposed to be writ of summons, not originating summons. But the lawyer should have known, he's trained. And that was why I mentioned before that there are some competent lawyers that are just wicked, and there are some incompetent lawyers that may, no matter how they try to be nice, they will still mess up your case. I have seen people in court have their case boggled because of poor filing. That person will go home and say the court to the justice system. No, it was his lawyers. Now, I have had cases with EFCC that involved people that were close to me. And I discovered upon intervening in the case. Now, many of you don't know that what Very Dark Man does, I do. But I don't make noise about my own. Many times I've heard people say, hey, Very Dark Man has done so much for the Nigerian youth. What have you done? I don't have to make noise to make progress. I don't have to make noise about what I do. Now, I cannot say I am comparing myself with Very Dark Man. No. Very Dark Man is far my junior. And the things that I'm doing in my direction is different from his part. We all have our parts. And that's why the Bible says, they measuring themselves with themselves and comparing themselves by themselves, they are not wise. So it will be foolish for me to say I want to compare myself with Very Dark Man. It will not be wise for anybody to do that. We all have our own races to run. Face your race and run it. I have faced mine. Now, in handling a case for someone once with EFCC, we discovered that, do you know that even the lawyer of this man, we had to sack the lawyer and get a different lawyer. The lawyer of this man was in cahoots with the EFCC lawyers, negotiating terms for not even court bail, for administrative bail, charging him and billing him because this man was a Lebanese. His own lawyers were selling him out. So we must understand these things. One question that Nigerians have not asked in all of this Justice Crack issue: what would have happened May 14th if Barrister Marshal Abubakar did not leave Turkey to come back to Nigeria? What would have happened? If he did not, because he did not plan to come back on May 14th. And it's not my word for it now. Don't take my word. From the videos that Very Dark Man has been posting, he said it himself that he's the one that told Victor Osimhen to book the flight for Marshal, to cut Marshal's vacation short. Marshal was not planning to come back to Nigeria on May 14th. He wasn't. Now the question is, if Marshal had not come back to Nigeria May 14th, what would have happened? The bail application would have been heard, because the bail application was made by Marshal, who was member of a team of lawyers. And then the new lead counsel would have continued with the case. The judge would have heard that case. So for those of you saying that if Marshal did not want to come and free Justice Crack, why did he cut his journey short? Number one, he did not cut his journey short. Number two, it would have been better for Justice Crack if Marshal had actually stayed back in Turkey and continued his flexing and chilling with Very Dark Man. Now, we need to understand this, because if we don't, you too, if you have a case tomorrow, you will get into problems with lawyers. Do you think it is a joke that the Justice Abdul Malik was advising Justice Crack that be careful the kind of lawyers that you let handle your case? You think it's a joke? And she mentioned it, that there are lawyers who just want to handle cases for social media publicity. This is the same nonsense amongst lawyers that messed up Nnamdi Kanu's case. Many people don't know it. You can feel comfortable, right? Be happy with yourself and blame the justice or blame the judges. But it was a power play, an ego play amongst lawyers. That was what messed up that case for Nnamdi Kanu. The same thing is happening here now. And Nigerians need to learn from it. If we don't learn from it, we keep making the same mistake. Then it will appear as though things happen, We don't learn any lessons, and they keep happening again. Now, here is this. In all of this, we are forgetting about the enforced disappearance. The enforced disappearance of Justice Crack for 72 hours by the Nigerian army. That is still an issue they have not come forward to apologize for. Now, this has nothing to do with whether or not Justice Crack is guilty. Whether Justice Crack was guilty, even if Justice Crack was guilty, the Nigerian army do not have the powers to disappear Justice Crack for 3 days without information. They didn't. Now, the Nigerian army has not apologized. What did they choose to do instead? They chose to engage VDM. This is the connection you're not seeing. Why the attention has shifted away from the wrongdoing of the Nigerian army to, oh, it's Barrister Marshal versus Barrister Taiwo, blah, blah, blah. It has shifted. And I think Very Dark Man had everything to do with it. Instead of the Nigerian army to apologize to Nigerians, what did they do? They engaged Very Dark Man first to do a narrative management for them, to say, oh, I am sure that by now they would have handed him over to the DSS. He was not sure. He was informed. He knew. After that, on the day of the hearing was when Very Dark Man was invited to the army headquarters, the Directorate of Media. That was when he was given award and was promised that, oh, he is going to be given access to their media chat. Something that should be open to all media houses and even social media. The White House press conference, they are open to social media bloggers. But instead of being open, the Nigerian army is giving him special treatment. For what? Narrative management. Now, I feel that even Very Dark Man took it a notch higher than just narrative management. I think he orchestrated this whole confusion to keep Justice Crack as much as possible in the detention or in the custody of the DSS. Because think about it. Very Dark Man is in Turkey, flexing. He decided to go with Marshal Abubakar. Marshal Abubakar knew he was handling such a sensitive case. I would say it's a high-profile case. He left without telling any other lawyers in that team. He left. Now, he filed for the bail application, knowing that there were other lawyers in that team in the defense of Justice Crack. And he chose to put his name alone together with that of Deji Adeyanju, who was not even in court on that day, and deliberately ignored the names of the other lawyers, including Dr. Sam Amadi, in that bail application. That was deliberate, and that was wrong. Now, after being in sole custody of the filing document, he took the filing document, traveled with it, without informing the other lawyers in the defense team for Justice Crack. Now, the other lawyers decided that, look, 25th is too far. Let us bring the hearing date for the bail application forward. Okay, you need the filing documents to do that. Where are the filing documents? They are with Marshal Abubakar. Marshal Abubakar, where are you? They'll call him. They can't reach him. Eventually, when they will even reach him, you say, with social person, you go to that person. The person says, no, it's not with me, it's with Marshal. Then you go back to Marshal again, you call, not reachable. Nobody knew where Marshal was. Marshal told no one he was traveling. Now, these people decide to now apply for certified true copy of the filing documents for the bail application, which they will need to pay for. If you know how the court process is, what you will pay. It's not much, but then you still have to pay. Now, they got that and facilitated a closer hearing date. They facilitated it. It was not Marshal that facilitated the May 14 date. In fact, if not for Showore, who made it public, Very Dark Man would not have heard. Marshal would not have heard. Now look at it. Marshal was not planning to come back on that May 14th. From the video that Very Dark Man did, he said it clearly that he told Victor Osimhen to book Marshal's flight. So it was impromptu. To what end? Only for Marshal to reach that place. Marshal knew that some people worked for that new hearing date. He knew. It is only fair that Barrister Marshal, as a lawyer of no mean repute, give lead counsel even if they did not ask. Even if Barrister Taiwo or Sam Amadi did not ask for lead counsel, it is only fair that Marshal, knowing that these people went out of their way, got certified true copy when he could not produce the filing document, and then facilitated the faster date, it's only fair that Marshal should have allowed Barrister Taiwo to be the lead counsel. Only fair. Now he comes and insists that he must be the lead counsel. The Justice Abdul Malik rightly then asked the accused, the defendant, the respondent, whichever, who do you want to be your lead counsel? And he chose Barrister Taiwo. Now, does choosing Barrister Taiwo as lead counsel, does it mean that Justice Crack threw Barrister Marshal out of the case? Does it mean that Justice Crack sacked Barrister Marshal as his lawyer? The answer is no. The answer is no. Barrister Marshal could have accepted and still continued in that legal team, allowed Taiwo to lead, right? And then he would still have been able to use the bail application that was filed previously. But Barrister Marshal knew that if he withdrew his appearance, the implication would be that he will be withdrawing any document that is entitled to his name. So did he plan this beforehand by making sure that it was only his name and Adejadeyanju that were on that bail application so that the other lawyers would not be able to go on without him? Did he plan it beforehand? Now the judge, he saw through this and asked him again, do you understand the implication of your action? You are withdrawing appearances. You have not been sacked as a legal representation for Justice Cracked. You are just not the lead counsel. You can still continue as part of the legal team and the bail application will still be usable. But if you say you are withdrawing your appearances, that simply means that you want to sabotage the case. To paraphrase. And Marshal said, yes, I want to withdraw it. Blatantly sabotaging that case. And the reason I'm dwelling more on this, I know many of you will not want to hear. You're already taking sides. I perceive that the Nigerian army has engaged Very Dark Man, and Very Dark Man has engaged Marshal to frustrate this case as much as it can, to keep Justice Crack in the custody of the DSS as much as possible, to punish him. Very Dark Man is not the Very Dark Man that we used to know. Very Dark Man is now the exact thing that he once fought against. He was fighting against fake life. Oh, this social media life. You are showing wealth and riches to the Nigerian youths to influence them to begin to do negative things. Is that not what Very Dark Man is doing today? Yes, you can say that he helped somebody to retrieve their child. He helped this. Yes, but you can't do one good and do 9 bad and tell us not to criticize you on that 9 bad and focus only on the 1 good. No. Even if you do 5 good and 5 bad, yes, we'll praise you for the 5 good, but we'll still criticize you for the 5 bad. But in the latter times, what do we see with Very Dark Man? He's doing more bad than good. And I'm not saying he's not doing good. He's doing more bad. And he's allowing the establishment to use him. He's being used. He may not know it, he may know it, but he is being used to frustrate this Justice Crack issue. The earlier Nigerians know it, the better for all of us. I'll close on this note. I asked the question before. If Barrister Marshal Abubakar did not come back abruptly, impromptu, from Turkey, what would have happened to the case? The bail application would have been heard. Why didn't Marshal acknowledge the service of the lawyers that facilitated the date, the May 14 date? He didn't. Perhaps, and this is my reading of the situation, I'm not saying this as a statement of fact. Perhaps it was just impromptu brought in to frustrate the case. And that is bad. Nigerians know it. When you get a court case, these things are possible. It is not the judge's fault. It is your lawyers. Sad, but true.